Oh yeah! Steppin' on the beach, the only place to read your emails and tweets. This is the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Wednesday, February 10th. Still hump day, baby. I'm J.E. Skeets alongside me, Mr. What You Need to Know himself, Tass Mellis.
Hey, everybody. Nice to hump with you.
Tassy, we got the Bassmaster. Ripping them lips, Trey Kirby.
Heyo.
Hey, yo.
The international man of mystery, taking it to the max. Got his hair looking like Jack Armstrong. It's Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lee with the long locks. And last but not least, making the magic happen, it's JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Shout out once again to the stream team joining us live on YouTube. Apparently some people are pretending they're working by just chatting in the stream. Real busy. Is that what's going on in there, TK?
That's exactly right. People are hitting the boss button anytime somebody comes by. Bring up those spreadsheets, tracking the wedgies. This is a great way to shirk your responsibilities. Come here, some guys make jokes about basketball.
Well, I was actually thinking maybe we should start like dressing in like buttoned up shirts and like ties, like make it look like that person is like just on a Zoom call, right?
Brilliant.
Busy working away and checking the numbers and going over the stream team numbers because we just eclipsed 30,000 subs. So guys, thank you so much for that. We're making this march to 40K now. Comment, like, subscribe, share, do all you got to do to help the No Dunks YouTube channel become one of the greatest YouTube channels in the history of sports YouTubing. Is that a thing people say? Probably not.
Totally.
We really are only in this so we can get a weird plaque when we hit 100,000. That's all we really want. We want to give that to JD. We want to gift it to him. And he would proudly put it up with Rachel's art, I assume. Is that right,
I
JD?
would, yeah. I would tear down her art to put it up.
Jesus.
Because it's way more important. And then I would leave the show. That would be it. I would be...
Oh, well, don't say that. Then people aren't going to want to get us to 100,000.
People are going to we'll get up to 100,000. They'll start unsubscribing. We got to keep it at 99,999.
It's sort of cool, too. I don't mind
Yeah,
that.
very good.
Before we dip into the mailbag, you guys have been great at sending in your questions and comments. Once again, check out Tass's daily What You Need to Know series. Bangers all morning long, all week long. So go check that out. Make sure you subscribe so you get those early when they go up. Check out Trey's hilarious 7 days in the NBA recap. New one went up on Tuesday night, so that's there for you. And finally, looking ahead a little bit, Thursday night, it's still in play because we hit 30K. NBA happy hour watch party. Yes, Thursday, February 11th. We will fire up the stream around halftime of the Heat Rockets game on TNT. We will not be going for 4 hours and 20 minutes this week, but we will go for a good, let's call it 90 minutes plus. It will depend how our guest is. That's what we did the first one. Lee, come on, Lee.
90 minutes plus. I mean, plus what? Plus, I mean, I saw last week when Matt was on, we're like, oh, this will probably be longer than the first one, but not 4.5.
You want the honest truth? You were too entertaining. You were too entertaining, Lee. You were gold. You and Matty O bouncing back and forth, just like old times, egging each other on. It was great.
Matty was looking great. Wasn't he looking great? Because not too long before that, he sent us a photo showing how his hair was
shit.
all. Yeah. But he obviously got the hair done for the big party, which I appreciate. He had some great stories. I mean, he was sort of hating life, but loving life at the same time.
That's his MO.
Oh, my God. He was just perfect. So is he coming back tomorrow, though? I mean, are you going to surprise us with him? Or is
No, we do have another guest in store. But I mean, it's going to be an open invite. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's going to get the invite. If he wants to click it, that's totally up to him. I mean,
But again, like Trey said it, like I'm a little weary of these West Coast guests because it is so early for them. Like they're in no rush to go anywhere, especially now during a pandemic. They're not going out. But, it starts getting into midnight, 1 o'clock for us. And it's like,
invite somebody to your house and they just won't leave.
Yeah. Right.
Man,
yeah,
that was one of the funny things Matt said, with this pandemic, like, he could have been down. He's like, what am I going to do? Go for a drive? Who am I going to go and see? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do when I get there? So I just don't do anything.
Yeah. Well, you compared the NBA happy hour, Lily, to just being at a party.
Yes.
Man, you attended some lame parties, but
well, it was more in response to just how the last 9, 10, whatever months has been. that it felt like actually getting together and not, because we get together pretty much every day, but all we do is talk about basketball. So to actually get together with, an old friend as well, catching up, and it was like, oh, this feels like I'm sort of at someone's party here. But it was great. So I hope we keep that feeling alive. We keep it going for all these happy hours.
Oh yeah.
Because, it's the hook is kind of like, oh, we're gonna kind of talk basketball about a game.
No, I've never made that. I made it clear we are never talking about basketball.
I know, but I think
talking about basketball.
Yeah, I think originally it was like we'll sort of shape it around the game. But the last thing you want to do when you're at a party is put the TV on. Everyone starts watching the game. It's like keep the TV off so people stay socially engaged.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if we get like a close game and our focus goes to it down the stretch. Sure, but again, that's always difficult. Some people probably aren't even watching it. There's the timing issues of like, I'm 30 seconds ahead. I'm 30 seconds behind. You're right. No, hey, super cash, man. That's all it is. It's the bros hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we'll try and keep that in mind as we continue. Don't you worry, Lily. It's not,
all right.
It's not going to get too formal.
I like how you're so worried about the 4 hours and 20 minutes. Like you can't just click the X if you want to leave.
I tried. I couldn't do it.
You were having too much fun, man.
I was having so much fun, but there was a couple of times I was like, all right, I'm probably got another 10 minutes or so here, and then I can just sort of take off, but I just couldn't do it. It was great. So, I mean, that's what I said too. Like, it's like, I would think when I'm sitting in front of my computer, I would just say, right, I'm done and I'm gone. But it was too powerful, that party. There was too much emotion in the air.
Yeah. I mean, and like, we couldn't play music over the stream, but you were singing a lot of songs. So it did really feel like a party.
I can't wait to bust out some more Billy Joel tomorrow night.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Your top 5 Billy Joel songs, according to the Ellis on Sirius XM?
Yeah, we did those spontaneously. Now I've had a little bit more time to think about it, so I might rearrange them for tomorrow night.
Oh, my God. Please pick a different artist at least for our next NBA happy hour.
This week's top 5 Billy Joel songs. It's always the same song.
He just like changes the order.
Well, no, I left one out. I mean, the longest time I left that one out. That has to be in the top 5.
What an oversight!
Yeah.
All right, that's tomorrow, Thursday night. We will once again hear Lee's top 5 Billy Joel songs on the NBA happy hour. Okay, I like this bit. We would do it every week now. But let's get to the questions, Tess.
Are you guys ready to overreact? You guys ready for some recency bias? Well, here we go. What's up, Donunks crew? With LaMelo Ball, no, we're not going to call him Mello, playing out of his mind, I started wondering, who would you rather build a franchise around, LaMelo or Trey Young? Both of them are instant offense, but little defense. Keep on throwing out those classics. P.S. Give JD a raise. That's from Lawrence checking in from Belgium. And just before you answer, Trey, we put this up on YouTube, and the recency bias going strong there as well.
Whoa.
LaMelo taking Trey Young. This is 1,000+ votes. LaMelo at 56% over Trey Young. Everybody hot on LaMelo.
Wow.
What about you, Trey? You got Trey, or what's going on?
I mean, it's a tough question. Let's be honest here, Tast. Nobody wanted to answer it. Nobody had the guts to sign up for the answer first for the first question because nobody wants to pick against LaMelo Ball right now. You've said it a few times on What You Need to Know. We only care about what LaMelo can do. We're not worried about what he can't do at this point. And I think that that's why you're seeing that huge advantage for LaMelo in the YouTube vote. Lawrence nailed it here, though. Different players, but they have similar impacts. They both remade their teams instantly in their image, and they both don't really have much to do with defense. If you're comparing strengths, LaMelo has the size. That gives him an advantage rebounding. He's a pretty good rebounder for a point guard. He does have more of a defensive impact. He's in the passing lanes, getting the steals. I think he's probably a little bit better passer than Trey Young is, and he brings you the joy and the leadership, which is almost enough to convince me. It's like a Jason Kidd effect out there with Melo. It's fun to play with him because if you keep cutting, you're going to get the ball at some point. And you've seen the effect that he has on the Hornets. You've seen the effect that he has on his coach, James Borrego, who said he has more joy when he's coaching LaMelo Ball. That being said, I think Trey Young could lead the league in scoring and or assists. I don't know about the same year. That'd be pretty tough, but I think he could do one or the other. I'm even old enough to remember his rookie season. It's a long time ago, but he once upon a time was the next level passer, changing the game, doing it with both hands, has every single pass in his bag as a rookie. You got to be able to shoot it in today's NBA. I have a little bit more confidence in Trae's shot. He's just under more scrutiny right now. We expect Trey Young to take his team to the playoffs, where with Melo, he's been starting for a week and a half. So we love it. You can't go wrong either way. Give me Trae right now, though.
I mean, I don't have much else to add to that. I'm Team Trae in this one, as great and as exciting as LaMelo Ball is, and he probably will be a franchise cornerstone. But so is Trae, and he is right now. And, he doesn't give you a whole lot on the defensive end. I think LaMelo actually is already, as a rook, not brutal on that end of the floor. So that is a plus for him. But I'm Team Trae in this vote. I am shocked by that. I got to be honest, Tass, the breakdown there of the vote. I would have thought it would be flipped, like 50%, 56% for Trey Young, and then 44%, which I even would still consider a little high for a guy that's played a couple weeks in the NBA. But people love new things, right? So I guess
people,
maybe
no
not that
doubt.
shocking. Yeah. What do you think, Lee?
Of it in the moment.
I'll play the bad guy here, and I'll say I'll go with LaMelo Ball because I wish LaMelo Ball wasn't shooting the ball as well as he is so far, because that was the big knock on him coming in. It was like, athletic, better defender, good rebounder, great passer, great basketball IQ, but he can't shoot. Well, he's shooting pretty well for a rookie out there. He's shooting, this is overall as well, 43% from the field, 36% from downtown, and 80% from the free throw line. And we know since he started, he's been very, very good. So it's very recent, very, very recent. But literally, it's like what happened yesterday. Oh, Trae didn't play, LaMelo did, so let's go with LaMelo. But I do really think that LaMelo Ball coming in, and we talked about it a lot, and Skeets, especially you sort of like, is this guy good or not? We just don't know. And based on what we saw from Lonzo, you thought, it's going to take a while for that shot to come around. Well, it's already come around way quicker than Lonzo's did. And Lonzo obviously going to the Lakers. I think that's a completely different situation there as the first of the Ball brothers into the league. He came in with so much hype.
Yep.
and he hasn't been really able to quite live up to it. He's been good, but not quite as good as a number 2 pick sort of should be. So when LaMelo comes along and he didn't even go to college, we're kind of like, he's probably not going to be better than Lonzo. But I think he's probably his career to me looks like he could be better than Lonzo Ball. And I just like the fact that he is 6'6" and he's a point guard who can rebound and defend. That's something that Trey Young cannot really do, and he probably won't be able to do that. Certainly the rebounding as a defender, he does get exploited a little bit because of his size. He's not just only 6'1". He's a thin guy. So, you know, we've seen guys like Isaiah Thomas and Chris Paul around that same height be very good defenders. So it's not as though Trey can't develop into a good defender. But I think LaMelo has an advantage just because of his height and his athleticism. So I'll just take LaMelo today. Sure. Why not? Just to make things interesting.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, this is us picking like Jason Kidd or Steph Curry. I mean, hopefully that both of their careers on the trajectories they are, that's what we're actually getting into. And then you're like, oh yeah, that Hall of Famer or this Hall of Famer. I mean, hopefully they're both great players. But where do you side, Tess?
I'm taking Trey Young for sure. At this point, LaMelo Ball, the story couldn't be any better if you want to pick him, right? He was, off the bench for several games and everybody wanting to see him in the starting lineup. Let's clean the dirt off that guy, bring him on into the starting lineup. Now he's the shiny new toy for everybody. And he came in and he's shooting lights out, lights out. So I think he can be a decent defender, and I'm sure everybody riding high with LaMelo. I watch him and I think, my God, he's 19 and he's freaking strong with both hands passing the ball, left and right. You don't see that very often. I don't think Trey had that right off the bat.
Oh, he did. He did
with his left,
for sure, guaranteed. Go watch the rookie highlight tapes, man. This guy was incredible.
Yeah, I guess he was tossing it to the corners and stuff, but like this is early. This is like 10 games in. But anyway,
because of his size, I think like LaMelo in comparing to Trey. I'm with our Trey here. Like I think he was doing this too early on. But they're both awesome. I mean, they're both incredible playmakers. That's the best part. I mean, as much as we fawn over LaMelo, Trey Young was like nutmegging guys left and right out of the gate and throwing incredible dimes. But
anyways, he's great and he's strong, and I think he's got some like defensive awareness, even though he's standing up. He's not really in the athletic position. He's just kind of standing up, but then he'll pop right back in and play the right lane and get there and tip a ball. But yeah, I mean, this is just peak. The numbers are going to come down. They are. I hope they don't. But of course, his shooting percentages are going to, come down a little bit, especially as a starter. Like he wasn't shooting great off the bench. But anyways, we're talking about LaMelo. We're talking about the Hornets. So it's a great start. I think, it's kind of hard to take away what he does, though. If he's got the confidence to shoot, he's huge. And I'm looking forward to watching it. That's for sure.
You made me think of something, Lee, when you brought up Lonzo getting drafted by the Lakers and being under that spotlight, right? Do you think LaMelo is in like the perfect position, the perfect team to obviously grow his game here and maybe like go through some of the growing pains, falling to the Hornets at 3? Because I'm trying to like picture LaMelo, let's say if he went number 1, so having that tag applied to you, now you're on the Wolves. And like, let's say Cat is not injured at that point or whatever. Like, is there a jockeying to whose team it is? Because it would still be Cat's, of course. Okay, so that's a little weird. Then if he goes to the Warriors, well, it's not his team. And you've got like this weird dynamic maybe with him playing with Steph and stuff like that. Like, I wonder, was this perfect? I guess, because one of you guys said it. This is his team. Like, Gordon Hayward's the best player on the team. But it actually feels like it is sort of his team. It's just like that identity or something, or the way they should lean into it. And that's fine because Gordon Hayward is probably okay with that. Just maybe the way he sort of goes about his business. So I don't know. What do you think? Like, is this sort of like the perfect spot for him to fall, LaMelo?
Oh, I think it's absolutely perfect for him because when you compare it to Lonzo, I mean, Magic Johnson at Lonzo's opening press conference was saying, we want to retire your jersey. What sort of pressure is that? He's also a California guy from LA. And he also came in on the back of LeVar Ball saying that Lonzo was better than Stephen Curry, right. And I think so by the time LaMelo came along, as I was saying before, we kind of were like, well, we don't think he's going to be anywhere near as good because he just simply wasn't hyped up, or you overhyped Lonzo so much. So we're going to be skeptical about LaMelo. But I absolutely think it makes a huge difference. A couple of factors. I think if you get taken number 1, no matter where you go, that's a huge burden to carry. But also if you go to a team like the Lakers or the Knicks or even the Bulls, one of those teams, immediately that spotlight is just so much more intense than it is on the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, it's like save us ball right away.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whereas the Charlotte Hornets, if LaMelo Ball was stinking right now, let's just say he was, and he was still coming off the bench, I don't think it would have that much attention. It would kind of be like, he could have gone that way anyway, and it's the Hornets, so we're not really paying attention to them. So the fact that he's actually playing really well, that team's starting to win some games and get it together, it's it's only good for LaMelo Ball. Obviously, at some point, most rookies hit the rookie wall, and he'll probably have a few games where he cools off. But right now, he's sort of bringing the Hornets back when nobody really expected him to do that immediately anyway. So, I think this is a fantastic situation for him, and it's really working out perfectly.
Yeah. And Gordon takes a lot of the pressure off him too. Like in Australia, he was the number 1, number 2, number 3 guy, I'm sure, on his team, and he had to bring it up. And that's why he shot 12% from 3. But now it's like, I can just shoot when I want, when I'm feeling good, when I'm feeling right. Otherwise, I'm just going to pass it. Like, there's not a lot of scoring expectations on him. I don't know how he's that release. It just goes up and then it just goes in. I don't know how he does it. He didn't even have a shooter around the other day.
Sitting in a reclining chair every time he shoots. He's like, hey, chilling, shooting threes. Hops forward a little bit when he does it. I don't know how it goes in. It is right now, though. And if he's on fire, if he's going to be able to shoot that well, obviously that increases Melo's ceiling. If you're the Wolves and the Warriors, though, you're regretting your pick. He should have gone number 1. There's no doubt about it. It might not have been the better situation for Melo, but he's better than both Edwards and Wiseman. Oh, if he only would have dropped to number 4.
Oh, so close, so close. All right, we're all high on LaMelo, despite some of us taking Trey Young in this hypothetical poll there, building a franchise right now. Next one, I teased it on this morning's podcast because we didn't talk about the Jazz winning again versus the Celtics last night. They've won 16-17. I said, hey, hold on. We're going to get to them on Beach Steppin'. And here we are. All right, all you Utah Jazz fans, text your friends that are also Utah Jazz fans right now. We're going to talk about the Jazz. Longtime fan since the TBJ days, writes Kurt. I was watching the Jazz Hawks the other night, and the Jazz announcers were really talking them up as being overlooked contenders. But it sounded like they were trying to talk themselves into it. Do you think the Jazz are overlooked right now as legit title contenders? Again, that's from Kurt in Peoria, Illinois. TESS, let's talk Jazz, baby.
Let's talk Jazz. Are they overlooked? Yeah, of course they're overlooked as championship contenders. Well, that's a tall hill to climb. That's to be in the same breath as the Lakers or whoever. they're just going to have to keep shooting it the way they're shooting it. I mean, it's a little crazy with what they're doing. But Donovan Mitchell has bought in to what Quinn Snyder has said, and they just love math. They just said we're shooting 3-point shots almost every time down the floor. They're number 2 in attempts and 3-point shots, and they're number 2 in percentage. But they're pretty good with their percentage last year. But they just said we're going to shoot more of them. And it starts with Mitchell saying I'm going to take a career high in threes, and he's shooting a career high in percentage. So I think that has to continue, somewhere around there. I don't think he's going to shoot 42 forever, but that has to continue, because I think if you're going to be a championship contender, you're going to have to do it by committee. You don't have a Bron, you don't have an Anthony Davis, even you don't have a Kawhi even to take over. So all these guys have to be very good. So there's some ifs. So if Donovan Mitchell can keep up a decent 3-point percentage, if Mike Conley can keep up what he's doing, he is Memphis Grizzlies 2017 playoffs Mike Conley, what I thought the Jazz were getting last season, he's turned into. I said it, I think, a billion times. I was sick of hearing my own voice say that Mike Conley could be a good playoff player. He was in Memphis, and now he is right now. So if those two things happen, if Joe Ingles can continue to hit shots and be a playmaker, Royce O'Neal can't get the yips. He's got to continue. He's shooting 45% from 3 too. So there's a lot of shooters shooting well. Bojan, he's probably going to keep it up. And I believe in those guys all individually, but they kind of have to keep on doing it. So it's a tall task. It's just hard because they can't overtake anybody. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like the Bucks in a way. Like they all have to be clicking. They don't have a takeover guy like late in games. I mean, even if Donovan Mitchell is kind of that guy, I think there's just a lot of questions is what it comes down to, because I think the defense will be good enough. Are they going to resort back to just ISO ball with Donovan Mitchell, or are they going to keep feeding everybody? Is Jingle and Joe going to get the ball and be able to set up guys, like Jordan Clarkson, do his thing? So all that to say, I think they're definitely overlooked. They're going to get in the ring and fight with somebody, but they haven't won, convincingly yet in the postseason. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not putting them in the championship, top 3 or whatever, but they're in that next tier for me.
20-5 right now. Top 4, I think, offensively and defensively. We know they're a juggernaut defensively when Rudy Gobert is playing. Trey, are you buying the Jazz as a legit title contender? And I guess, what does that mean? I think, to me, that means what? Top 2, top 3 to come out of their conference. Let's put it like that. Yeah, let's put it like that.
To come out of their conference.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair guess. BetMGM has them at the 6th best odds to win the championship right now, behind the Lakers, Nets, Clippers, Bucks, Sixers. So the Jazz come in there, and I mean, if you're a Jazz fan, you're thinking, we got to be higher than the 76ers. We got to be higher than the Clippers. We're better than them. We got to be the number 1. And I think that's fair because they have been a great team this year. But to me, I think that they're the Hawks. I think that they're the Hawks from the year they had 4 All-Stars. What was that? 13, 14? I think that's
that far back. Wow.
No.
14, 15?
15, 16?
No, it's going to be 14, 15
14,
or
15
13,
in
14.
New York, I think.
Okay,
the
there you
All-Star
go.
game was in New York, yeah.
Nonetheless, you guys remember the team.
Yeah.
Amari Carroll, Kyle Korver. The defense was top-notch. They made a whole bunch of threes, and that's exactly what the Jazz are doing right now, shooting 40%. That's not going to carry on for the entire year. But Mitchell, I do think, can elevate his game in the postseason. He's inconsistent in times. He's had better balance this year, I do think. Conley obviously has found his place. They've been playing together for so long that they have the Hawks-like, the Spurs-like beautiful game type chemistry where they just know where everybody's going to be, where their shots are coming, how they're supposed to flow from one action to the next. But just like those Hawks, it's going to come down to 2 things. Matchups. They looked great in 4 games versus the Nuggets last year, but in the last 3 games, they absolutely could not stop Jamal Murray or Nikola Jokic. That's going to be a problem again if they get into a thing where Rudy Gobert keeps getting put into the pick and roll. We've seen it happen a few times in the playoffs, but maybe it works out to the point where they don't get exploited like that, in which case, just like the Hawks, the final boss is LeBron. How are you going to beat the Lakers? And that's always what it comes down to. Basically, you got to figure out a way to beat LeBron, either if it's in the Eastern Conference, if it's in the Western Conference, if it's in the NBA Finals, you got to beat LeBron. Did the Jazz have what it takes to do it? The Hawks didn't. I'm a little skeptical about the Jazz, but they have been so good to start this season. I think Conley was on JJ Redick's podcast talking about how they do have that Spurs like passing the ball around. Anybody could be the guy who's making a 3-pointer. Looks great right now. Will it look great in the playoffs? We shall see.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder just how important getting the number 1 seed is, Lily, to avoid having to play potentially having to play both the Lakers and the Clippers, right? If you only have to go through one of them, be it, a LeBron, like Trey said, or maybe even a Kawhi-led Clippers team, then you're going to help your chances of getting there. But what do you think about the Utah Jazz? Hell, you're going on a Utah Jazz podcast tomorrow, so you better talk glowingly about them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they tease you as well because they look great on both ends of the floor and they go on these big winning streaks and they look like they have all the pieces, good defensive pieces, the star player and Donovan Mitchell. Then you've got Ingles and Mike Conley and Bojan Bogdanovic who can all hit the three. So when they are playing their best, they look very hard to beat. And Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench, I mean, he's their second leading scorer. He's just out there firing away. He's the sort of guy I question whether or not he was worth that 4 years and $52 million they signed him to, but absolutely he's proved that so far. He just comes off the bench and he's instant offense, which is what they need. So I think all their players have defined roles. They run about 8 or 9 deep on most nights. So they've got, some plenty of coverage out there. They've got guys who can play multiple positions. They're getting stops on the defensive end, which is a hugely important thing. And they have the continuity and not just their coaching staff, but their players. So they have all the ingredients. But the big sort of cloud hanging over their head is just what happened to them against the Nuggets in the playoffs last season when they were looking convincing when they were up 3-1. And it looked like, they were really exploiting Nikola Jokic in the pick and roll, just throwing lobs to Rudy Gobert, and it was working. And then they just kind of fell apart after that. Jamal Murray took over. He was fantastic. So they have some demons. They have to prove it in the playoffs as well. Now, if that was the conference finals, let's say, where they lost, it was like, okay, they got the yips late in the playoffs. But in the first round, it was like you just expected them to go a little bit further. I think the only team they really are going to struggle to beat would be the Lakers. I think they could beat the Clippers. I think they could beat the Nuggets. So I think number 2 for them is sort of their ceiling. I just don't think they could get past the Lakers if everyone's healthy. But you want to see them at least get out of the first round of the playoffs at a minimum this season. That's where it is for them. I mean, they can't have another stumble in the playoffs. Now, if they get to the second round again, if they're facing the Clippers and they do have home court advantage, as you mentioned, which they need it, then I think they would almost go into that series as a favorite to beat the Clippers. So they can do it, but it's fair also to be skeptical of them because they haven't been able to do it in the playoffs at times. So you need to see that change before you can be really convinced. But they go on these win streaks and they go on these streaks during the season where some of their basketball is some of the best because that ball does zip around.
Oh, they're always included in the very solid plays.
The Jazz are even tweeting me very solid plays. How many very solid plays have we had this season? So they know what it's all about. Share that ball. But a sign of a good team for me is like when it's like no matter who gets that ball on the perimeter, obviously except for Rudy, he's never out there anyway. But it's like, well, this guy can knock in that three. And
everybody on the Jazz is like shooting lights out. One guy you didn't mention that I think I'd like to show a little bit of love to, Royce O'Neal, man. Like he's hitting the 3 ball at like 45% on 4 3-point attempts per game, but then he's like sort of their like perimeter sort of defensive guy, which I love too. So yeah, they're all playing the role, but you got Mitchell shooting 42% from 3, Royce O'Neal, like I said, 45, rounded up to 46%, Bogdanovic 42, like on a lot of attempts, Conley 41, Ingles 43. I mean, Jordan Clarkson is like the worst of the bunch, and he's shooting 38% from 3 on a lot of attempts. It's everybody is on fire, but lately that can be contagious sometimes, right? Especially when the ball, you turn down a good look for a better look. And these guys are obviously got a little confidence right now in letting it fly. And Quinn Snyder has given them the green light and said, yeah, we should play more like this. Like we got a great defense. Let's shoot more threes. We got the shooters on this squad, so let's do it. So I can see what you guys are saying, though. We want to get excited about them, but it's a little reminiscent to me of like good Raptors teams in years prior when, especially as Trey said, you got to get by the big boss man. You got to get by LeBron. Well, yeah, they'd have great regular seasons and you could start to convince yourself, they play a good team game. They're balanced offensively and defensively. And it's like, until you actually go through the playoffs and win a couple rounds, it's tough to ultimately convince, especially the casual, right? Like the general public. But, what'd you have them there? 6th, according to BetMGM, as favorite for the
Fourth in the Western Conference. 4th in the Western Conference seems a bit low to me. I would definitely have him at least above the Nuggets.
I agree.
Amongst those in that mix, and probably above the Clippers as well, at least right now.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's fair. So there you go. A little Jazz talk. Lee, I can't wait to hear you on are you going to do, hey, this is Lee Ellis. These are my top 5 Jazz players of all time on Sirius XM. Please do that. But then don't talk about jazz players. Talk about musicians.
Horace Silver.
Yes. Right, next question. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hey guys, I'll be honest. I wasn't a huge fan of Big Beef volumes 1 through 3, but around volume 4, it started growing on me. It's gotten to the point where I find Trey's Big Beef segments irresistible. I work from home and often have the pod playing in the background, no matter what I'm doing. When I hear that Big Beef soundtrack fire up, I stop everything and dance like I'm the old guy at a rave. Yeah! I just have to make sure if I'm on Zoom, I smash those mute and video buttons. Yeah, you don't want to get caught. My question, what is something that makes you stop what you're doing no matter what the circumstances? Thanks. That's from Sean in Maine. Skeets, what do you think?
Well, just to speak quickly about Big Beef, I'm sort of with you, Sean. But to me, it was like, I realized Big Beef was a great bit because it was really funny to me at the beginning. Like the first time you're like 20 rebounds, roast beef. Here it is. The highlights. It's hilarious. And then I think around like 3 or 4, maybe because they were coming really quickly too. I was like, I don't know. Do people care about this? Is this funny? Do I like this? But then it took, like a great bit. You just keep driving it home. It suddenly becomes even more hilarious, and I love it even more. So that's where I'm at. Of course, now I'm all in on Big Beef. So it's a well played, TK. Way to stick with it. But they were coming so fast and furious there for a bit. I mean, more than anyone cutting all these highlights. So
it was honestly ridiculous. The first week
Yeah.
that Big Beef happened, we hadn't had a 20 rebound game yet in the NBA, and I think there were 4 that week. After, like I said, something stupid in a beach stepping. Yeah, it's called roast beef rebounds. And suddenly they're all over the place, and now the people can't get enough beef in their mouths.
Tasty. It's very, very tasty. I mean, people can't get enough beef that JD's cold opens are about dogs waiting on beef. I mean, that's next level. So anyway, I'm all in, Sean, and I'm glad to hear you are as well. But to answer your question, something that makes you stop what you're doing no matter the circumstances, 2 movies. If they're on TV at any point, and we're talking, they're on TNT, so the commercials are in there, things like 5 hours long with all the commercial breaks, I will still stop whatever I'm doing and just watch a little bit, and maybe even the rest of the movie because I love them so much. Gladiator, I will always stop what I'm doing to watch at least a good chunk of Gladiator. Seen it obviously hundreds of times, it feels like. And then Interstellar, which I've talked about before. That was just on the other day, and I found myself watching it again. Murph! So yeah, those 2 movies. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, what I've been watching. If I'm flipping through and I see them on, I'm stopping. I just am. I just love those movies. They're easy to jump in at any point. You can always this scene, here we go. And with Interstellar, you're like, maybe I'll even figure it out a little bit more with each viewing. So those 2 for me, always. I don't know if anybody else went this route with the movie route. Lee, you're nodding away. Where are you going?
Yeah, I did. Goodfellas or Inglourious Bastards for me. Yeah, Goodfellas especially. It's just, but I have to watch it through. No matter where you pick it up.
Oh wow!
It's like, all right, I got to see this one through because
that's a long movie too on TV.
It is. I haven't, I dropped cable a while ago, so it's been good. I haven't had to do that for a while, but it's just one of those movies. No matter where you pick it up, you're like, all right, I'm in. All right, whatever I was planning on doing. Sorry, done.
Okay. Yeah, Trey, did you go the movie route?
I didn't go the movie route because there's never a time when I'm flipping and finding movies. I can't believe you guys are still finding TV movies. For me, it's like if I'm going to put on a movie, I'm putting on a movie. It's not going to be a random movie coming up. This isn't 1996. I'm not checking the TV guide.
I don't know what it is.
I flipping through a channel.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's so nice when you see a live movie. It's live.
It's
never been aired before.
Trey, I'm watching Life Below Zero, or I'm watching one of these weird reality shows where they're out in the Arctic fishing or something. It's like there's a commercial break. All right, let's flip around. Oh, Gladiator. Oh, yes. Oh, this scene. Oh my God, where he's on the horse. He's trying to race back to get to his family. Spoiler alert: they're dead. Oh man, yeah. No,
horses.
That's when I'm always flipping around between commercial breaks for these dumb shows I'm watching. But yeah, that's okay. So where are you going then? What's your answer?
New Top Shot packs, obviously, Steve. A couple of days ago, I was up at 2 a.m. because I hopped in the queue. I was like, I'm in the queue now. I got to see if I can work my way up from number 17,000 to get a $9 pack of highlights here. Didn't happen. Ooh. Fell asleep, woke up. Oh, yeah, they're sold out. But anytime they're telling me they're going to have new packs out, I'm refreshing like crazy. Skeets talked me into getting ready to drop $1,000 on a pack of hollows. Ridiculous stuff. I'm taking Yams, the dog, out to go to the bathroom at the dog park. I'm like, hold on, Yams. I'll get your turds in a second here. The packs are dropping. Skeets is still in the line. I thought they were all gone, but he's still in the line. We got to see what happens here.
That was Saturday, right?
Yeah, I think
Saturday.
it was on the weekend. We didn't get them, by the way, people. There was not many of them to be had, and there was a bit of an error. And you went back to turds were dropping quicker than the packs were dropping.
Got a couple of Yams moments for sure if anybody wants to trade.
You guys were literally gonna pony up $1,000
that's why we were like, I mean, that was part of the fun of it. Like the odds of us getting the chance to buy it were basically minuscule, but we were like, if we do get the chance, do you want it? Like we were talking about splitting it or something like that. In fact, we were going to go third C on it with Amir Blumenfeld at one point. Like we were like, okay, we'll go thirds on it. Yeah, it didn't end up happening, of course. But
it's way easier to say you're in on a deal when you know the deal's not going down.
That's right.
Absolutely, I'm in. Skeet,
Yeah,
we'll split it up. We'll flip that legendary right away. The three of us will each take a limited edition, and then we'll let the dupes fall where they may. Stop, boys.
People were so angry about that. The blips, the problems that they had.
They're ironing out some kinks over there at Top Shot for sure.
Yeah, but the cookies, you got to delete your cookies. I listened to a podcast about the fallout from that instance. Is just a minor error, minor technological error, but it was far more confusing listening to the explanation about the technological error. It was an error, so they're going to fix it. All good.
Yeah,
I mean, it was an error, I guess, because they didn't give you guys 1,000 or how many cards do you get for $1,000?
Well, it was 10 in those.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
But you were guaranteed a legendary and it was like 3 rares or something, and then the rest were base. Have you guys signed up? I mean, I'm talking to you, Tass and Lily. You got your Top Shot accounts yet?
No, I have not.
I will say, I sort of thought you were going to ask me that. From where we were this time last week to where we are now, I understand how it works.
Okay.
Trey sort of explained it to us, and I'm like, okay, I can see how that works, but I don't want to.
Lee, let me tell you this. God. Our buddy Trey here, he just flipped a Fred VanVleet, all right, for $3. Apparently someone that's a fan of the show actually bought it. We just found out.
Shout out to Simon.
Yeah, shout out to Simon. Oh, Simon, that's his name.
You want to pass on these digital cards to your kids, Lee? They'll be millionaires.
It just feels like lately I've been signing up, because now anything online, you just got to sign up, create a new account, and God knows what your passwords are, because some you need a character, some need an uppercase, lowercase, some you need a special character, some you can't use a special character, and you're just like, I can't, basically all my passwords are exactly the same except for one or two uppercase, lowercase.
You need a password keeper, man.
But that's the thing. Like anytime now someone says, "Oh, you got to check this out," you're like, "I'm gonna have to sign up, aren't I? I'm gonna have to sign up and think of another too short, too long, strong, weak." I'm just like, oh God.
Yeah,
it's so easy to remember. Baby confidence, baby. I mean, confidence, baby, confidence. Well, there you go.
Yeah, but is it a capital C, and do you put the exclamation mark at the end or not? I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Okay. Did I put in baby confidence, baby, or confidence, baby, confidence?
See, putting in baby confidence, baby is actually genius, because no one would think that. They would think it the other way around. So
you'll never crack that, man.
The worst part is when you have an auto-generated password, when you get it suggested and you go, okay, I'll do that. Click. Nope. Sorry, you need a special character, or you want a number.
Come
on. When it says, you've got your password wrong, so you set the reset password, and it gives you the exact password you were putting in, the exact password. And so you're like, okay, and then you put it back in. They say, no, you can't use the same password you've used in your last 10. And I'm like, they're all the same except for that special character on the end. So I'm rotating all the way around to the starting.
Oh my God.
But see, lately, because we've been signing up our other son, our 4-year-old, for school, so you have to register. So you have to go to a website now. You can't use the same one that your son uses, even though he's going to the same goddamn school. You would think it would be fairly easy to just add a kid. No, of course it's not. Of course it's not. And then they're telling us we're living in a out of zone own school for our house. And it's like, my own son goes to that goddamn school. I mean, the other one, our neighbor goes to that school as well. How can that possibly
we
be
got
out
a
of zone?
stressed dad here right now, man. Yeah, you don't have time for Top Shot, man. Yeah, you just let this one slide.
And then, you know, for our 8-year-old who goes there, they send out the reports, just go into the parent portal. I went into the parent portal.
I couldn't remember your password. Yeah.
Forgot password. Username didn't even exist. I'm like, I was in this thing.
I hate that.
I was in this thing 2 weeks ago. 2 goddamn weeks ago, I was in this thing, and now you're telling me my username doesn't even exist. Contact someone. Nah, no one. No, you know. It's, oh my god.
Oh, come on, man! You're in the portal. Just jump into the Top Shot portal. Let's get in there.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm a little worried that someone's gonna crack your login here for our stream, and some stranger's gonna be sitting there with a dong
if someone
hanging
cracks one of my passwords, I'm done. They're going to crack all of them.
All right.
One password, mate. The people are suggesting it in the stream team. It does everything you need. It's even generating these crazy passwords for you.
Listen, I signed up, I think it was for Dashlane. I forgot my password for Dashlane signing. That was like, all right, I'm done.
Uncooked carrots, is that with a capital U and a C? Did I make the money sign on the last?
The funniest one was when I was trying to get my passport renewed a few years ago, not the one just recently, a few years ago. I was getting my passport renewed at the Australian passport online, and I asked my mother's maiden name, which is like, okay, I remember that. There's no way I can forget that. All right, so I put that in, and it's like, you know, it's not right. And I'm like, okay, I'll try a capital with the first letter. Sure. I'll try that. Even though I think I did that the first time. So, or maybe I tried lower, knocked it back. I'm like, there's no way I got my mother's maiden name wrong or misspelled it. There's just no way. So I had to call them up, and something happened with their website, and they changed the last letter of my mother's maiden name. And I'm like,
hold on, they did, or you did? You typed it in by accident?
No, because I had to do that originally. I had to put it in because it's like you got the 3 questions for some of these websites, and that
I love those questions. By the way. Which ones do you go with all the time? There's always like a pet one, elementary school teacher. Yeah,
it's fun when you have to verbally give an answer to one of those over the phone.
Oh yeah, that's good too.
Whoa, what was your first pet's name? I don't want to answer that.
I always go when I can with the same 3 that are just like impossible to forget. But apparently this one, no, I didn't get it wrong. They got it wrong. So I got my passport at the end, but I was just like, oh my God, I hate this stuff. Like, what the hell's going on?
Okay, so you're not So you're sitting at Top Shot until you're over your password fear.
Unless someone else just creates an account. Why don't we do that? Someone else creates an account and just
no, we're not doing that. Either start your own damn account or don't. Okay, Tass, we never got your answer for this one. If you have one, something that makes you stop what you're doing, no matter the circumstance.
Everything. I've got the attention span of a toddler right now. Like if I'm cleaning up, if I'm holding one of my kids' like action figures, I'm holding some PJ Masks, and then I walk by a cup of water. Oh, I got to pick that up. Oh, and then I'm walking, see something else I got to pick. Oh, there's a coffee mug. Got to pick that up. So now I'm just juggling a coffee cup and a water cup. For what reason? Just because I got to do everything all at the same time, and I can't stop. Everything is just. Everything is everything. Everything is everything.
Everything is everything.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just got the attention span of a goldfish.
Goldfish, nice.
Goldfish, yeah, that's a good one. Be a goldfish. Where did I hear that recently? That's a great advice. Just forget what happened 10 seconds ago. Be a goldfish.
I thought that meant go swimming more. Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, maybe it was. Sure. Yeah. It's a good show. All right, next one here. Let's keep going. Yo, Dunks. I like how Lee has now solidified his process on Pick'em Picks. It starts with the strain, which indicates he is very working hard to weigh the options. But then inevitably, it ends with who cares? I'll go with blank. The flip from serious consideration to total apathy seems like record time. What is something the rest of you try to take seriously, but then give up with a who cares by the end of it? That's from Marshall in Knoxville, Tennessee. Who wants to go first on this one? Anybody got a good answer? Tass, you got anything?
Well, I guess playing piano was something that I thought I could do. And then I get in front of that piano, and then Then a little kid comes by with a cup of strawberry jam, and they feel like, oh, maybe I can shove this jam in between the keys of that piano. Yeah, that sounds good. That'll play a tune. So, like, I try and get on the piano, and then they go to sleep, and you can't play the piano anymore. So, don't want to wake them up with my beautiful velvet tones. So, yeah, that hasn't happened. And buying a piano during the pandemic, it just didn't work out with little babies running around. But I'll dust it off at some point.
But you have a keyboard though. But you want the real deal piano.
Well, it's a digital piano, Skeets. It's not a keyboard. There's a level in between. It is a piano.
Okay, well then you have a piano. Then I mean, what's
I'm just not playing it.
No. You got strawberry all jammed in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Play Strawberry Fields Forever.
Okay.
It's not the name of the song, but no, God, no. I wish I could play an instrument. I'm surprised Matty O didn't bring up during the happy hour. Where's my guitar?
Yeah,
pull it out. It's in the closet right behind me.
Oh yeah, he had the harmonica.
Trey could have joined in. He could have grabbed one of his on the wall there.
This is decorations. These are just artwork here.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that's what you got there, Tess. Trey, you got an answer for this?
I love seeing people put care and craft into their coffee prep, selecting the finest beans, grinding it the right way. Maybe you even pre-warm your coffee cup. I love all that stuff. It makes your coffee better. But I also love it when Laura sets the coffee maker to just turn on in the morning so that I have hot coffee in the morning and I don't have to do anything. That, to me, is better. I mean, I would like to have a nice, delicious cup of Joe. I see Lee Ellis getting busy with his espresso machine, things like that. JD obviously has got good coffee. Tass has good coffee. Skeets, how's your coffee?
No, man, I'm with you. I am all about speed, man. So Nespresso, boom. Hit the button. I mean, I think it's actually not bad coffee for coming from the pot or whatever. But you're right. In concept, I love the idea of a nice, good bean, do all that work. But no way, I want that thing in me in like 5 minutes in the morning. Yeah, I'm not doing what Lee was doing. Lee had like a 10-story Instagram going, like of all this stuff. It's like,
Lee was like Tom Brady after the Super Bowl with all these Instagram stories after. But I'm the same way. Like on a Saturday, I'll get out the frother. I'll make a puffy milk and pour it on top there. But Monday through Friday, just give me that hot bean water, baby.
Yeah. Lee, are you doing what you're doing every day there in the Instagram stories? Jeez,
twice a day. Yeah.
No wonder you have no time to remember your passwords. You're putting hours into your coffee.
It's worth it. Yeah, I invested in a little coffee machine, a Lillet espresso machine, and got the beans, got the grinder, and that's honestly why I held off for a long time. I'm like, have I got the time and I've got the energy? Is it really worth it? It is absolutely worth it. Once you get it and once you get into that routine, it makes a huge difference. So I love that in the morning, just getting the beans, the grind, the smell.
It doesn't take that long, though.
No, it doesn't take that long. Grind.
It takes, you turn on the machine. It only takes about a minute or so to warm up, but I like to give it 5 minutes to really warm up.
Oh, wow.
And then and then you lock the filter in there, and then it just comes out, and it's great. Really, really worth it. Grinders probably a little bit more expensive than you would expect too. Yeah,
I thought for a high quality one, sure.
Yeah. In fact, I've now not signed up for another website, of course. And this is it. I got an email today because once you sign up for a website, you can never unsubscribe ever to their newsletter.
Right. Password beans.
And I got actually offered today a new Fast and Furious Eureka Zenith 65E titanium coffee grinder. So basically, if you want to grind your coffee at lightning speed, you can get this baby. It must be worth a fortune. It looks incredible.
Like how much?
Well, it doesn't say the price on the newsletter here, but
it's very expensive.
But it's titanium. I mean, that's what they build the space shuttle out of, isn't it? Like, so it's got a. Look at this. 65 millimeter flat burrs made with long-lasting titanium, high RPM spinning rate at 1,310 RPMs, 510 watt motor, large bean hopper that holds 3 pounds of whole coffee beans. Pair your Eureka Zenith with our hopper blow-up system to help reduce grind retention. I mean, people go so deep into it. I mean, I like
this. This is insane. What's the price, mate?
Well, hang on. Let me see if I can.
Okay, never mind.
Is it a Fast and Furious tie-in? Is this like a Vin Diesel approved coffee bean grinder?
Bean Diesel.
Because I would get into grinding my coffee every single morning if there's a Vin Diesel tie-in. But I think you're just describing.
Oh, he found the
how
price.
it works.
I've got one. Whoa. How much do you reckon this grinder is?
Well, by your reaction, this thing's like $499.
Way more expensive.
Wow.
Worth it. How much?
Okay, $899.
I've got one here for $949.
Damn.
The grinder. Wow.
Now that'll take care of those beans.
Yeah. Oh my goodness me.
You're thinking about it, aren't you?
Yeah. That's probably a bit of a reach even for me there, but like I say, now you've signed up. Don't ever try to unsubscribe. It just doesn't work. You're in for life. So
would you rather spend $949 on a grinder or $1,000 on a pack of Top Shots?
Yeah. Well, would you like to own a very rare Kyle Lowry moment, or would you like this grinder?
Well, I guess with the Top Shots, there's a chance they can increase their value. The grinder's like buying
that grinder.
a brand.
As soon as you buy it, as soon as that grinder comes off the lot,
exactly.
It depreciates like crazy.
Exactly.
As soon as one bean touches that blade.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it depreciates like crazy because during the pandemic, I thought I was going to get my Elite a little cheaper. But
I keep thinking you're having He's done it twice now. I keep thinking you're like having a little hiccup when you say it, a little stutter, but that's
the brand.
It. Yes.
Yeah, I was expecting them to be, pick up a deal, even like on Black Thursday or Black Friday, whatever it is after Thanksgiving. They hold firm though; those prices. They're like, no, we're not giving in. We're not giving in to temptation. Well, people want them; they have to pay the price for them. So,
so you a pretty penny on the machine itself. It sounds like, hey, Leo. Wow.
Few bob on that, few bob on the grinder, and now the beans.
Now the beans, yeah. Let's not forget about the beans, the most important part.
Yes,
if you want to get those high quality beans,
yeah. And actually, funnily enough, when I put up the story, an Australian man in Utah said, "Hey, I roast my own beans. Can I send you some?" I said, "Oh, you bet you can."
You're damn right. You betcha.
And they were incredible. So I actually re-upped and I bought some back in return. So. Yeah, it makes a difference when you get there. When you're like, okay, I can see why I do this now. It's worth it.
You dropped a "you betcha" on that. You are now Jared Beanberg. Lee, do you have an answer for this one?
What's the question? Sorry, what are we talking about this morning?
What is something the rest of you try to take seriously, but then give up with a "who cares"? I mean, I guess you were used as the example, so maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, in terms of that, it really feels. This year, anyway, with the pick'em, like last night, for example, the Nets losing to the Pistons. I don't know what the line was, but I'm guessing even without Durant, the Nets were probably 4 or 5 point favorite there in Detroit, and they lose. It feels this year a little bit harder because I don't know, just the way the season is and the league is, and so when you get that situation, you're just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I could see both teams, covering or winning, whatever it is. So that's why I've taken that approach because you like when we get to it at the end of the show, you're like, I can't remember. Is this team on a hot streak or is it losing? It's on the road. Does it really matter? Is it a back-to-back against the same team they played last night, the baseball series? But I would say other than that, the answer is like just trying to maintain order and manners and table manners and things like that at the moment with our kids because, like we have a rule, like no devices, no phones or laptops on the dinner table or anytime you're eating, it's like sit there and talk to each other. But,
and listen to me talk about beans.
Yeah. But, inevitably what happens, it's just sort of like, I don't know, like you hear the phone go off and so you grab it and you're like, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be talking to my kids. And if I have my phone, they're like, well, can we get the iPads? And I'm no. And I'm scrolling away like this. So,
is that why you didn't pick up my call today?
No.
Forgot to send something in?
I forgot to send that in. And then I put my phone down. I got distracted and I was going for 20 minutes. I thought I was going for like 5 minutes. I came back and I had a phone call. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? So, sorry.
Skeets never calls me.
Yeah. So, I mean, no one really calls anymore. I mean,
no, I mean, I just don't want to call anybody.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I gotta call my grandma though. She called last night, and it was I was out actually. So
Yeah.
Call her right now.
want me to call grandma right now?
Get her in the happy hour tomorrow night. Isn't she 99? Is she 99?
No, that's my other grandma who passed at 102. She made it to 102.
Oh wow.
Right. No, this is my grandma. This grandma is 85, I think, 86. Something like that. Anyway, okay, good. Devices.
Yeah.
Did you answer the question? I guess you did. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like you try to have some of those rules and discipline in the house that you follow. It's become a lot harder in the last few months, I think, because
don't be so hard on yourself. What are you, a titanium bean grinder? All right, next question.
Skeets, did you have an answer for this one? I know no one signed up.
Let's
No one signed up for this one. No one wanted it. You talk about the first one, Trey, that nobody wanted. Nobody wanted this one. Still, I'm looking at the document right now. It's left blank.
Yeah.
Nobody
That
wanted
task,
this
there's
one.
a little, pull back the curtain a little bit. The reason I went to you is because I went to the doc because I was like, in my own notes, I had no one answering it first. And then I went to the actual live Google Doc and I thought I saw your cursor like flashing there.
Oh, yeah,
I was
it's
like,
there.
okay, I'll go to task first. Maybe
Yeah.
he's got something. So
That's usually a sign that the person is going to.
yeah. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'll go to
Put
task
up their
on this one.
hand, but no, not me. I just hope somebody doesn't find out Lee's password, and then goes into our Google Doc,
jeez, we're
and then just
screwed.
says, "Oh, Lee's got to answer every question."
yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
right.
No, I mean, no, I have a bad answer, so let's just move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, no donkey booch boys. Longtime fan, first time emailer. I always, I see the introduction, the addressee, and I never know if I'm going to say it right because I had a Donunks earlier.
Yeah.
Now donkey booch boys. I don't mind it. Longtime fan, first time emailer. I'm loving watching on YouTube, especially JD's cold opens. I would love to see a highlight tape of all of them. It's true. They're great. What's something non-NBA you would like to see a highlight package for? Firm bum, love your glute size, ol' steroid ass. That's from Chris in Victoria, BC. Trey, what's your desire to see a highlight package all about?
Really taking liberties there with the turn up. Love you guys. Awesome sign off, Chris. I don't know about this. Firm bum, love your glute size, old steroid ass. I do like the butt correlation, but it doesn't sound anything like turn up. Love you guys. Awesome. We'll let it slide. Nonetheless, non-NBA highlights. I asked Laura about this, batting around ideas. What would you like to see a highlight tape of? The first 3 answers she gave me were different forms of people falling down. The first one was just people falling down. Everybody loves seeing people fall down. Fail compilations, they're huge. The next was kids falling down. Maybe a smaller bit of a market. Nonetheless, it's still out there. And then the third one she changed it up a little bit. Parents saving kids from falling down. I love it. This is what the people want. This is why we had to bring back whoopsies. They want to see people messing up. So I guess that's the only real highlight out there. Everybody wants to see people falling down. So I thought maybe we could share some of our favorite and our best falling stories. Everybody knows I fell down the stairs twice in a year. Over the summer, I fell out of a tree, taking my kids for a walk. I went up, hung on a branch, did a shack-like dunk. They were loving it. They said, "Do it again, Dad." Same branch, shattered right away, fell flat on my back. Just me and the 2 girls. I was like, wow, I guess I'm not hanging on tree branches anymore for the rest of my life because I didn't get hurt at all. It was hilarious. We had a great laugh, but I could have really gotten hurt. And if we're out just walking, out in nature and I'm suddenly paralyzed from falling from a shack-like dunk, probably bad news bears, but a grown man falling out of a tree, always funny.
It's like that clip of the gorilla sniffing his fingers after touching his butt and then falling out of the tree. I don't know. Does anybody else have a really good fall story? Lily, you got a classic fall? I mean, the only one that pops into mind for me is like I actually got injured when I was probably maybe 12 or 13, maybe a little bit younger. I was carrying a hockey net because we had just been playing like road hockey or whatever. And it was in the winter and I'm carrying it and I slipped. And because I guess I was holding onto the net, I didn't like really brace myself as I fell and just banged my head on the cement ice. And then went home and like legit had like concussion, like symptoms. Like I was getting sick and stuff like that. And luckily we lived across from the hospital. So my mom ended up taking me over there, but that's like probably the only time I've ever had truly a concussion. And it was, you don't wish that upon your worst enemy. So, I mean, it was a scary fall, but I can't think of a really funny, silly fall I've had.
Slipping on the ice is brutal stuff.
Yeah. I think the funniest fall I had was at my my middle brother's 21st birthday. I was only 19. It was late in the night, and I was drunk, and we had like a big deep freezer where all the alcohol was in. Mm-hmm. So as the night went on, it's further and further down, and I was drunk, and I lifted up the lid, and I reached down, and being drunk and so far down, I slipped in, fell in, and the lid came down. So my legs were, and I think a few people just enjoyed the sight before they helped me out of there first. So before anyone had cell phones or anything like that, so it wasn't instantly put on social media, but it was like I was legit like, oh, how am I going to get out of here? Because when you're drunk and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, it's a tougher challenge. So
I live here now.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I fell into a freezer. I guess that was.
Guess I'll have some hand ice.
Yeah.
Taz, you got a good fall story. I mean, you've got the obviously the bad fall story where you broke your femur rounding third there because you hit a pothole, I guess, on the field. But any fun ones?
It wasn't too far a fall though.
Yeah, true.
Because I was running. It was just a quick bend of the old femur. Yeah, well, this first, it all makes sense now because I asked Danielle, what I'd like to see a highlight package for, and she said, "Oh, yeah, Trey asked Laura that question."
Yep.
And, yeah, so I'm like, "Oh, okay, now I've got it all together. That makes sense." Yeah, I love seeing people fall. Of course, there is great montages of dads saving their kids, when they have those
swing sets coming through, and
love those.
Yeah, those are funny.
Love those. For me, well, it has to do with when I broke my leg. Actually, I went out for the first time about 4 months after breaking my leg, and so I was on crutches at the time, partial weight bearing, and I had forgotten how to drink in those 4 months. I didn't have a drop of alcohol, and I wasn't walking around, so I was sitting down, taking and consuming all sorts of alcohol. So when I did get up, I mean, I was hammered, and a buddy was carrying me, and my man Cameron Freese, who's a large man, but he was also drunk. So instead of using my crutches, he was carrying me, and he ended up put me on his back, and before I knew it, I was on the tarmac.
Straight drop.
I was straight drop. Yeah. Straight on my back. Luckily my head is fine. And there's no freezer there. I wish there was a freezer there I could have fell into and my legs would have been flailing out of, but there it is.
Next one. Tweet from Matthew. Today I learned that J.E. Skeets and I are Chevy Trax brothers, which begs the question, if the Trax were an NBA player, who would it be? Wow. Shout out to you, Matthew. We're Trax brothers. I hope you have a 2020 and not a 2021 like me. I didn't know how to answer this, so I actually looked it up. I don't care about cars at all. I just want a car that will literally just not fail me and just get me from point A to point B. I'm not a car guy by any means. I had a Chevy Cruze, as I talked about all the time. And then when they stopped making that, I just went to the Chevy Trax. So I looked up, guys, I Googled, is the 2020 Chevy Trax a good car? The first response that came up was this. I'm quoting this word for word. The Chevy Trax is not a very good subcompact SUV. It has underwhelming engine power, dull handling, and an uncomfortable ride. Interior quality is nothing to write home about either, and seat comfort, cargo space, and fuel economy are merely adequate. Man, it's like cut right through my heart, but I loved it, and I used that review to answer this question, the NBA version of a Chevy Trax. PJ Washington. I think PJ Washington is a Chevy Trax. Good, sort of mediocre. He's an NBA player. He does some things when he's out there. He's still, in the Chevy Trax world because I got a 2020. He's like young, so it's somewhat newish, I guess. That's my answer. PJ Washington is a Chevy Trax. I didn't put much thought into it.
I think it's perfect.
There you go.
It's perfect. A guy. He's a guy.
He's a guy.
This is a basketball game. This is a subcompact SUV. I didn't know you could get answers like that, though, with Google. You just type in literally what you're thinking. I'm going to stop asking Laura a question, say, what non-NBA highlight would you like to see? See what Google comes back. But now I got to Google mine.
Just told me just like that. I'm not sure I agree with it all, but he's made, there's some parts that maybe I do. It's fine. It's a completely fine automobile, and that's all I want. Let's end this with one more. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a tall automobile. It's a lot taller than I thought.
The Chevy Trax?
Yeah, it's not as low to the ground as I thought. Like I was in front of it.
SUV, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
SUV.
it's compact. I was in front of it, and it was towering over me. I just didn't realize how big it was.
There it is.
Yeah,
That's not an actual photo that I sent to JD. It's Lee would have this photo in his phone, but not me.
Yeah,
that's the promo shot. Look at that beautiful looking vehicle, isn't it?
I love the lines.
Those are nice rims.
I love those.
Me too.
That's an upgraded
package. Mine doesn't look like that. I'll tell you that. I got the basic version. I got the PJ Washington version. That's the Miles Bridges version of the Chevy Trax. All right, one more question. Let's wrap this up. What we got?
Hey, with quarantine in full swing, I find myself daydreaming about bars as I watch these games. Oh, I didn't edit that well. I find myself daydreaming about bars as I watch these games, wondering which team would be most fun to go out drinking with. Would I want to have a wine night with LeBron and Dudley, or hit the club with Ja and JJ Jr.? If I could choose one team, I think it'd be the Nuggets. I imagine that Jokic could consume alcohol like it was water or Pepsi. Michael Porter Jr. seems like he could shotgun a beer with the best of them. And Gary Harris seems like the type of guy to walk barefoot across Denver to get some late night coffee and pastries.
Nice.
Good callback.
Yeah.
Which team would you most want to hit the bars with? Cheers. That's from Ben in Berkeley. Don't want to be a front runner, but I'm going with the Lakers. The access LeBron would get, primo. Start with that. I think a big part of my decision here to pick the Lakers is Marc Gasol. I think he would just have such a wonderful time. He's such a down-to-earth fellow, but obviously with the way he chugged back that bottle of wine during the Raptors parade, he can enjoy his alcohol, have a good time. Dudley, we could talk about his book. Wesley Matthews, I think I'd like to get to know a little bit better.
There's the real reason why.
He's my friend.
Yeah.
He's my good friend. And that's about it. There's other guys on the team that I'd like to hang with, but yeah, it's not just a cop-out to go with LeBron's team. There's lots of characters on that team, lots of good dudes to hang with on that team. What do you guys got? Trey, what do you think?
I'm going with the Clippers. Going to hang out with Kawhi, not say a single word. Serge Ibaka would be super fun to hang out with, and I'd like to mend fences with Paul George. I've said some mean things about him over the years, but I feel like we could squash the beef if we were out late together.
Okay. What do you got, Lee? Which team would you like to hang with?
I'm going to South Beach, I think, just with the Miami Heat. I think there'd be a fun night out with those guys, especially Jimmy Butler. Which way would he go? Would he be too intense, or would he just be super chill and you'd have a lot of fun with him? I think Pat Riley, you talk about access, he would know where to go too. He would take you to a really hot club there, down there, so you could have a little bit of fun on the beach. Bam, sure, he'd be fun, wouldn't he? Why not? And who else? Some of those younger guys like Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. It's good to see when the younger guys get out and dance and they're chasing the girls, and you remember what it was like back in those days. And you sit back and you're like, I'm not that guy anymore, but it's fun to see the exuberance of youth out there on the dance floor.
Right. As you cheers your cup of coffee with Jimmy Butler and say, I used to be us.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we got the Canadian connection going. I want to hang out with Shea, hang out with Dort, and I'll be like, I would be like the Jim the Anvil Neidhart of the Canadian crew there in wrestling. They're the Bret Harts, they're the Owen Harts and all that, but I would just be Jim the Anvil and just hanging out. I'd love it. Just talk everything Canada. So much fun. But let's hear from you guys. That's a fun one for everybody out there to end with. Which team would you most want to hit the bars with, and why? Let us know in the stream team. Let us know in the YouTube comments, or you can tweet it at us at No Dunks Inc.
Lee, I gotta know, if you're going out with a 75-year-old Pat Riley, you think people are going to think you're father and son?
With the hair, yeah, maybe. You know what I would do though is I'd sneak a few packs of cards into my attire that evening, because I'd love to pop a few packs there with Pat Riley. He'd have a few stories to tell.
Hey,
in the club, yeah.
In the club.
Oh no.
Okay.
yeah, you're in prime 112. I'll have my steak medium rare.
remember how he was attired for the last dance? He was looking so sexy out there. So you know that Pat would have a great night. You'd have a nice private area, I think, in whichever club you went to. So you can say, Pat, well, I've got you here. Just wondering if you would be interested in popping open a packet of cards here with me. and he'd say, no, young fella, I'm on all this Top Shot right now. Get away from those cards.
Young fella.
Okay. Weird ending.
Didn't like the word sexy and then private area. Too much altogether there.
Oh boy, yeah, good side there. Let's wrap up a busy day at the old Classic Factory Wednesdays, man. To get a little zany after all this content. JD, are you still there, man? We haven't seen you all episode.
I am here. I've been enjoying it. A couple of times I was going to chime in, but I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, we're sort of at that point right now, aren't we? That's fair. Guys, check out What You Need to Know Monday through Friday. TESS and JD's excellent morning series. They're little mini recaps to get you all caught up on everything that happened the night before. Like I said, Trey's 7 days in the NBA. Very, very funny look at the NBA week that was. That's up on our YouTube channel. NBA Happy Hour coming on Thursday night. We'll fire it up. Halftime of the Heat Rockets game. So that'll be a lot of fun. Got a special guest in store. And back otherwise on Thursday and Friday with the Daily Show that is live at 10 a.m. Eastern on YouTube. And, shout out to all the listeners too. I'm always talking up the YouTube game right now, but we got those diehard loyal listeners. And thank you for downloading the show and sharing it. And of course, emailing in all your questions. Keep them coming. NoDunks@theathletic.com. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And I got to ask Trey a question before we go here. Who gets the next beef, Trey?
DeAndre Ayton. Future beefer DeAndre Ayton.
Absolutely.
Wow. How crazy was it that Josh Hart almost had the beef? That would be a special beef. Yeah.
17 boards. He's what, 6'5"?
Yeah, I think so.
Incredible stuff. People are saying you got to give him a beef jerky. It's a smaller slice of beef. Not bad.
Somebody said a teeny tofu as well. It's not bad. Alliteration is good. Can't wait to see those beefs on Top Shot one day.
Oh, yeah. Rebound highlights. Oh, they'll be very rare beef. All right. Brace the day, people.
You could stay